Beginners Session 6 on fractions. Before you continue watching, make sure to like and subscribe. The topics we're going to be covering today are fractions, proper fractions, improper fractions, and fraction operations. Our first topic of today is going to be fractions. So before we get into fractions, let's have a bit of a review on the natural numbers. The natural numbers are our counting numbers, and they are 1, 2, 3, and so on. But what about the numbers that are in between? Like that. There's numbers between each of these whole numbers, and they are called fractions. And they represent parts of a whole. They're not merely a whole number, but they're parts of a whole number. And some ones are 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, and 3 3/4. So we talked about how a fraction were parts of a whole. So here's how it is. So let's say we have a pizza here. We're gonna use our imagination. It's not a pizza, but it's close enough. And Billy decides to go to lunch, and he eats 3 slices. And he's wondering, what fraction of this pizza did I eat? Well, here's how you do it. First, let's count how many slices there are in total. That's going to be our denominator, or the whole part of the fraction. So count with me. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's 4 pieces in this whole pizza. Now let's count. Now for the numerator. The numerator is the number that goes on the top. It's the part of the fraction. It's the part of the fraction which represents the parts of the whole. And let's count how many that he ate. He ate 1, 2, 3. Meaning our numerator is 3. But how would we say this fraction? We have 3 and a 4. But how are we gonna say? And you're gonna say 3/4. And our answer is 3/4. Lastly, we have our keywords. These are gonna help when we're doing a word problem and we need to know what operation to use. And these words signify that we're gonna use fractions. There's fraction, parts, divide into equal parts, numerator and denominator, and last but not least, slices. Okay, so there are 3 types of fractions. There's proper fractions, improper fractions, and mixed fractions, but we'll get onto the other 2 later. We'll start with proper fractions. Proper fractions are fractions that are less than 1, and they fall to the left of 1 on the number line, and the numerator is less than the denominator. And this entire area here, they all are proper fractions. Now we're going to move on to our second type of fraction, the improper fractions. And this happens when the denominator is less than the numerator. And when you have this, you always want to change it, well, most of the time you want to change it to a mixed fraction, which is the third type of fraction. And a mixed fraction is when there's a whole number here and then a fraction, like 3 2/7. And 23/7 is a type of improper fraction. And a mixed fraction is a type of proper fraction. Anyways, let's move on how we change an improper fraction to a mixed fraction. So what we do is, let's say we start with 23/7. We're going to rewrite this as a division problem. 23 divided by 7. And what we do this time is, let's do 23 divided by 7. And you get 3 remainder 2, because 3 times 7 is 21, plus another 2 is 23. So you're going to write 3, keep the whole number, and write this remainder as a fraction, 3 2/7. And now we might want to practice how to change a mixed fraction to an improper fraction. And think of doing a cycle in clockwise, or in the way of a clock, because a clock moves like this. So So you're going to take 7, you're going to multiply by 3 to get 21. Then you're going to add 2 to get 23, and then you're going to write it over 7. That's how you change this back to this. Now, that might be very difficult to process at first, so let's do another example. We have 32 over 5. We're going to rewrite it as 32 divided by 5. 5 times 6 is 30, plus another 2 is 32, so that's 32 over 5 is 6 remainder 2. So keep the whole number, put this as a fraction, and then we're going to do our, to get 6 and 2/5. And then we're going to turn it back around, do 5 times 6 is 30, plus another 2 is 32. 32 over 5 is our answer. Our next topic of today is going to be fraction operations. It's also going to be our last topic. But anyways, we're going to start off with addition. And for addition, let's have two problems. 3 7s plus 2 7s, and 5 9s plus 1 and 8 9s. The first one's going to be pretty easy. When you add fractions that have the same denominator, you keep the denominator and you just add the numerators. So 3 7s plus 2 7s is 5 7s. So when we have a proper fraction and a mixed fraction, things get a bit wonky. So we have 5 9s and 1 and 8 9s. And what we're going to do is first we're going to rewrite 5 9s and keep it like that. And we're going to rewrite 1 and 8 9s as 17 9s. And we get 17 9s because 9 times 1 is 9 plus 8 is 17. 17 over 9. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing as here. Keep the denominator, add the fractions. 5 plus 17 is 22. You want to make sure you add correctly because tiny things can lead to big problems. Anyways, we have 22 over 9. We're going to rewrite that as a mixed fraction. 9 goes into 22 2 times, and 22 minus 18 is 4, and we have 2 and 4 9. And there is a check to make sure you got it right. You do 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. 22 over 9. Now we're going to move on to subtraction. Subtraction's a lot like addition when it comes to fractions. You keep this denominator and just subtract numerators. So we have 5 7s minus 2 7s. Keep the denominator. 5 minus 2 equals 3, and our answer is 3 7s. Now the next one, like before with the mixed fractions, is going to be pretty weird. And this is how we're going to do it. We have 2 and 4 9s minus 1 and 8 9s. We're going to change 2 and 4 9s to 22 9s because 9 times 2 plus 4 is 22. And then 1 and 8 9s to 17 9s because 9 times 1 plus 8 is 17. And then we're going to do 22 minus 17 equals 5. Keep the denominator. Our answer is 5 9s. Our second to last operation is multiplication. And this, you don't need the same denominators. Like, we have 3 examples up here. 5 9s times 4 thirds. Let's start with that. So what you do, multiply numerators, multiply denominators, and boom, your answer comes to you magically. So you have 5 times 4 on the top, 9 times 3 on the bottom. 5 times 4 is 20, 9 times 3 is 27. Your answer is 20 over 27. It's that easy. Let's move on to a mixed fraction times a proper fraction. The mixed fraction becomes 29 over 8 times 1 9. We're going to do 29 times 1, 8 times 9. 29 times 1 is 29. 8 times 9 is 72. Your answer is 29 over 72. And last but not least, we have a whole number times a fraction. The whole number can be written as 2 over 1 because technically fraction is a division problem. So 2 divided by 1 is still 2. So they're equal. So 2 times 1 over 1 times 3. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. Your answer is 2 thirds. Our last topic of today is going to be division. And in division, you want to remember one thing when it comes to fractions. Keep, change, flip. You can say it over and over in your head if you want to. Keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. Or KCF, KCF. Like that. And so how we're going to use this is we're going to use an example first. We have 7 9s divided by 5 8s. So what we do, keep the first fraction. Change the sign to multiplication. Flip the last fraction. So we get 7 9s times 8 fifths. Keep, change, flip. And then we do normal multiplication. 7 times 8 is 56. 9 times 5 is 45. This changing it to a mixed fraction, we get 1 and 11/45. Now let's do a mixed fraction. 3 5/8. We're gonna rewrite this as 29/8. So we're gonna keep this, change this, flip this. And when I say flip, we're just flipping the numerator and denominator. So 1/2 would become 2. 7/8 would be 8/7. 23/5 would become 5/23. And then when you do normal multiplication, 29 times 3 is 87. 8 times 2 is 16. Converting back, we get 5 and 7/16. Remember, keep, change, flip. So the first question of today is, what fraction of the arrows are pointing down? So first, let's figure out how many total arrows there are. And to do that, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that means our denominator is going to be 11, because 11 represents the whole. Now let's figure out how many are pointing down. We have 1 here, we have another 2 here, we have 1 here, and 1 here. Counting this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Meaning our answer is 5/11. Okay, so our last problem of today is that 8 people work at an animal shelter. 3/8 of the people groom pets, 2/8 feed pets, and the rest walk with pets. How many people walk with pets? So how we're going to do this is we're going to find the number of people that do each thing. So 3/8 of the 8 groom, meaning 3 of is technically multiplication. So 3/8 times 8/1 groom pets. And this gives you 24/8. 24/8 is the same thing as 24 divided by 8, and the answer is 3. So 3 people groom pets. Then we have that 2/8 of 8 people feed the pets. And of can be replaced with a multiplication sign, because of represents multiplication. So 2/8 times 8, 8 can be written as 8/1, is equal to 16/8. And 16/8 is the same thing as 2. 2 people feed. And since we have 8 to begin with, and we have 3 people grooming, and 2 people feeding, we do 8 minus 3 minus 2 to get that 3 people walk with the pets. Don't forget to subscribe and like. If you have any questions, you can email info@agoramatcircle.org or comment below and we'll reply back. Maybe. And if you want to see practice things or anything about us, you can visit our website, which is basically the end of the email, but without the info and the end. So bye!